Today I'm gonna be sharing with you several things that I try to never do at the thrift store that have probably saved me thousands. I'm having my tea with me today because it's so cold inside here. They turned off the central heating, but it's still like +7 by Celsius outside, so it's like a wintry weather. And I'm thankful I have this sweater on me that I bought, guess where? At the thrift store. You're totally right.
Who would have thought? Not me.
And when I came with this and a lot of other purchases that my Instagram viewers helped me to choose, my partner was like, oh, you bought so much stuff for yourself, I want some too. So we went to the thrift store together to choose something for him, and he was like, oh, I'm confused, Vika, can you help me? And I'm like, what do you mean you're confused? What do you mean you need help? You just choose clothes that fit you and your requirements. And then I realized that for somebody, it may be really hard to go to a thrift store because they don't have specific criteria. So the first one is never go to the thrift store without a plan. I don't mean that you need to have like super specific things that you need to buy, because I understand we all need sometimes this retreat shopping when we go to just buy something for ourselves. But I still think that you always need at least some sort of a plan. For example, you want to buy tops or you want to buy bottoms. You need jeans or you need cotton pants. Maybe you need clothes for summer or for winter. At least figure out the season that you are going to shop for, because if you don't do that, you can be confused at the thrift store and then be very exhausted because you don't really know what you came for. And I find that this is very helpful. Making a list, either visual or writing down what you need, or maybe at least in your head, understand what your plan is for today, for this thrift shopping session. The second thing is never forgive your purchases flaws. And what I mean by that is that if there's something wrong with the piece that you want to buy, leave it. It can be like the different size that you think you maybe get better or slimmer for, or maybe this is the color that is a little bit off, or this is the shape that you are not a fan of. If there's anything that bothers you about the clothes, you better leave it. Unless you are absolutely sure that you will mend it or fix it to fit you perfectly. If there's the fabric that I don't wear, I'm not taking this clothes. If it's a little bit bigger, I'm not taking it. If it's a little bit smaller, If it's too warm for the weather I'm aiming for, no thank you. I think this has saved me a lot, because sometimes we go to the thrift store and we see a stain on a shirt and we're like, that's fine, nobody will even see that. And then the stains bothers us a lot. And if you cannot deal with that, if you cannot just bear with stains on your clothes, do not buy it. I think this behavior of buying things that have any flaws comes from the feeling of scarcity. We sometimes feel that when we came to the thrift store, there's only like one moment for us to buy this thing, and then we'll never find anything similar to that. And this feeling of scarcity makes us buy more than we need. So we need to just, be aware that sometimes you want something you want just because you think that there will not be a chance for you to buy this again, or to buy something similar, or to buy something even better than this. But the truth is, there will always be clothes. There are a lot of slaves in China that are making them. Just don't be afraid to lose something at the moment, because I promise there will be a lot of clothes for you to buy in the next day, the next week, the next year, and ever again. Never choose bad fabric. But before we go into this point, I want to ask you to leave this video a like if you're enjoying it so far. I appreciate it a lot because it helps my channel grow. What I mean by bad fabric is something that I, by experience, already realized is not a good fit for me. For example, these are polyamide hated acrylic things, also quite cheap and doesn't feel good on your skin. A lot of polyester is also not good. I understand that it's okay for some sports clothes. Also, the ones that I don't like are nylon, although nylon also is good for sportswear. This probably comes from the experiments, but if you want to be sure that a thing will fit your skin good and will feel okay, then I recommend you to choose more of the viscose cotton, of course, organic cotton. Wool, I know it's not super sustainable, but at least it's super warm and comfortable to wear if you don't wear it on your bare skin, by the way. And of course, linen for spring and summer is perfect. Don't let the nice shape of something trick you into buying it if the clothes is actually with bad fabrics. Know your weaknesses. My weakness is probably all clothes, so I simply try to not go to the thrift store that often. Once a month is at most if I'm in the period when I need to renew a little bit of my wardrobe, but I don't go there often at all. maybe this will work for you too, but if you know that your weakness is, for example, dishware, then you avoid these sections, or at least make a rule for yourself to buy only one piece, only if you like it a lot. And if your weaknesses are jeans, for example, then again, try to make certain criteria for yourself in order to not overbuy in this section, right? Maybe you want to buy only like mom jeans, and this is the only thing that you may buy if it fits you perfectly. Otherwise, no jeans at this shopping time. So knowing your weaknesses just helps you to be aware. Be aware is super cool when you live your life, basically, because you know what behaviors you tend to act, and you can fight them or adjust them to the situation, or just be a more intentional person overall. So knowing your weaknesses is a must for going thrift shopping. When you're going to the thrift store, know A, where you will store these clothes, and B, how you will use it. I made the mistake recently. I bought the yoga mat, but I have not thought where I will store it. So for now it's in my closet, and I now have to think where to store that. But I recommend doing that before you go shopping. When you go to buy clothes, it's easier probably. I always have the rule for myself, no matter how many clothes I have, there's never too little storage. If something does not fit my closet, it's not the storage that's too small, it's too many clothes that I have. If I have this situation, I understand that I need to declutter, and this is the only option probably. And I never go for, buying more storage, because I don't want to expand this consumeristic behaviors and habits. I want to just keep something at the level where I am. So just be sure that you know where you will store the things you're going to buy, and be sure you know how you will use those things. When I'm at the store and I like some clothes a lot, I immediately start to think, what do I have, from clothes of course, that will fit these clothes that I'm trying to purchase? And I try to realize, how would I wear that? What will I match it with? I try to think over how exactly I will use this thing.
Let's travel to the thrift store for a moment. This blazer was something I loved so much. The texture, the color, the fit, but I had absolutely nothing to wear it with. Plus, my lifestyle is the opposite of wearing blazers. I'm a working at home person, common sense one, and I didn't buy this thing. And all it took is thinking how I will use it.
If this is something for a kitchen, I try to think of the processes I usually go through in my cooking, and I try to fit this object into these processes, not vice versa. Not I buy object first and then I realize and try to figure out how to use that. So when I'm at the store, I don't usually do this like before, but when I see an object, I think over the usage of it. And the bonus tip for today is, don't be too harsh for yourself. I make mistakes too, and only by mistakes I can realize things that don't fit me, things that I don't like, or things that I like very much. For example, if I hadn't bought once this blouse with flared sleeves, I would have never realized that I hate this type of sleeves. They are uncomfortable, they always get into the food I'm eating, I cannot cook or, wash the dishes with those flared sleeves. So this is a big no for me, and the only way I could know that is by making a mistake. And the mistakes you make at the thrift store are not something to blame yourself for, it is something to learn from, analyze them, try to think what exactly went wrong and how to not make the same mistake again. I will make the full haul on the things that I recently bought for my Patreon, so if you're interested in that, go and check my Patreon page. And if you want to also communicate in the smaller community, go to my Instagram account. Switching from shopping in big malls to shopping in the small thrift stores has simplified my life a lot. And there are a lot more ways actually to simplify your life. If you want to find out about more of them, then check out this video. Have the most wonderful day. Goodbye.